Letitia James, New York's Attorney General, made her name prosecuting powerful figures, most famously Donald Trump. Now, in a dramatic twist, she faces federal fraud charges herself, accused of the same kind of financial misconduct she once pursued. The October 2025 indictment has rocked the political world, raising questions about accountability and whether justice is truly blind. Once a champion of equal justice, James now stands as a defendant, her own words about holding the powerful to account echoing back at her. This video unpacks the charges, the key players, and the fierce debate over whether this is justice served or political payback. The case at hand revolves around James's 2020 purchase of a home in Norfolk, Virginia, a quiet, tree-lined neighborhood that seemed like an ideal place to settle down. The property, nestled among similar suburban homes, quickly became the focus of a high-profile legal battle. Prosecutors allege that James misrepresented her intentions by claiming the Virginia house as her primary residence. This claim, they argue, allowed her to qualify for more favorable mortgage rates and terms, ultimately saving her nearly $19,000 in interest and fees. Such benefits are typically reserved for buyers who genuinely intend to live in the property, not for those using it as a secondary home or investment. At the same time, James was serving as New York's Attorney General, a position that legally required her to maintain her primary residence in New York State. This dual claim raised red flags, suggesting a possible violation of both state and federal laws regarding mortgage applications and residency requirements. The investigation began after Federal Housing Finance Director Bill Pult made a criminal referral, highlighting suspicious inconsistencies in James's mortgage paperwork. His office's review uncovered details that prompted federal authorities to take a closer look at the transaction. If James is found guilty, she could face a maximum sentence of up to 60 years in prison, and fines totaling $2 million. However, legal experts note that sentences in similar cases are often much less severe, depending on the circumstances and the court's findings. As the trial approaches, all eyes are on the prosecution, who must prove beyond a reasonable doubt that James knowingly committed mortgage fraud. The outcome could have significant implications for both her career and the broader conversation about public officials and accountability. At the heart of this high-profile case stands Letitia James, the embattled defendant, who has consistently maintained her innocence in the face of mounting scrutiny and public attention. James, a prominent figure in state politics, has become a lightning rod for controversy, with her every move dissected by both supporters and critics alike. She argues that the charges brought against her are not only unfounded, but also deeply rooted in political motivations, designed to undermine her reputation and career. On the other side, leading the prosecution is Lindsay Halligan, a seasoned attorney and Trump appointee whose close connections to the former president have only intensified the debate. Critics claim her involvement is evidence of political retribution, while her supporters argue she is simply doing her job. Halligan and her team insist they are following the facts wherever they lead, emphasizing their commitment to upholding the law and ensuring accountability, regardless of political affiliations. Meanwhile, outside voices like Daniel Cameron, the former Kentucky Attorney General, have weighed in, framing the case as a straightforward matter of justice and due process. Cameron points out that a grand jury, after reviewing the evidence, found probable cause to proceed, reinforcing the legitimacy of the legal process. He argues that, in the end, the law should apply equally to everyone, regardless of their status or political connections. The unique backgrounds and public profiles of James, Halligan, and Cameron ensure that this legal battle is not just fought in the courtroom, but also in the court of public opinion, where narratives and perceptions can be just as influential as the facts themselves. For many observers, this case has become a test of whether the justice system can remain impartial in the face of intense political pressure and public scrutiny. For others, it represents a deeply partisan showdown, with each side convinced of their own narrative and unwilling to concede ground. As the case unfolds, the stakes couldn't be higher for everyone involved. Both inside and outside the courtroom, the outcome will resonate far beyond these walls. Supporters of the prosecution argue that this is a straightforward legal matter. Did James intentionally misrepresent information on her mortgage application to secure more favorable terms? They believe the facts are clear and that the law should apply equally to everyone, regardless of their status or political connections. For them, the case is about upholding the integrity of the legal system and ensuring that no one is above the law, no matter how powerful or prominent they may be. They point to her own words: "There cannot be different rules for different people," as a guiding principle, insisting that accountability must be universal, especially for public figures who set examples for others. On the other hand, critics see the indictment as a calculated act of political retribution, orchestrated by Trump's Justice Department to punish a longtime adversary. They claim the timing and intensity of the charges are suspicious, suggesting a deeper political motive rather than a genuine pursuit of justice. According to these critics, any mistakes James may have made were minor technicalities, issues that, under normal circumstances, would be resolved through civil penalties or administrative action, not criminal prosecution. They argue that James's well-known history of targeting Trump and his allies only adds fuel to the fire, reinforcing suspicions that this case is less about justice and more about settling political scores. As a result, the case has evolved into a symbolic battleground, a proxy war over the meaning of the rule of law, the limits of prosecutorial power, and the potential for abuse within the justice system. Both sides passionately believe their narrative is a defense of American democracy, making this case not just about one individual, but about the future direction of justice and fairness in the country. As the case heads to trial, the outcome will reverberate far beyond Letitia James. An acquittal could vindicate her and reinforce claims of political targeting. A conviction would end her career and send shockwaves through the legal and political worlds. The case has become a national litmus test for the justice system's integrity. Is this equal justice or political persecution? The answer will shape public trust in the law and the willingness of prosecutors to challenge the powerful. Whatever the verdict, the James case marks a new chapter in the collision of law and politics. The nation will be watching.